My friends, the greatest battlefield in life is not in the world around you, it is in your own mind. Your thoughts shape your destiny. Your perception determines your reality, and your mind is the gateway to either fear or faith, defeat or victory. If you do not master your mind, the voices of doubt, fear, and confusion will rule your decisions. But when you bring your mind under divine guidance, you align yourself with the wisdom and purpose of God. The mind was never designed to be a slave to circumstances. It was created to be a channel through which the wisdom of heaven flows into the earth. Your thoughts determine whether you live by divine direction or human limitation. What you allow to dwell in your mind will manifest in your life. That is why transformation does not begin in your hands, your environment, or your resources. It begins in your mind. So I ask you today, what is shaping your thoughts? The world will try to fill your mind with distractions, with fears, with the lies that you are not enough. But when you take control of your thoughts, when you submit your mind to divine wisdom, you will see with clarity, walk with confidence, and operate with authority. A mind mastered by divine guidance does not waver in uncertainty because it is anchored in truth. It does not bow to pressure because it stands on purpose. It does not react in fear because it moves in faith. If you are waiting for your life to change, start with your mind. Fill it with truth. Fill it with faith. Fill it with vision. Guard your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits, and your habits define your destiny. You cannot live beyond the level of your thinking. You cannot walk in divine purpose while entertaining thoughts of failure. When your mind is aligned with divine instruction, no obstacle can intimidate you, no failure can define you, and no fear can stop you. The greatest battles you will ever fight will not be against people, circumstances, or external challenges. The real war is in your mind. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every habit you form originates in your thoughts. If you can control your mind, you can control your life. If you lose the battle in your mind, you will lose in every other area. Your thoughts are the foundation of your success or failure. What you meditate on, what you allow to dwell in your mental space, will eventually manifest in your reality. The mind is where victory is either won or lost long before it ever becomes visible to the world. Every day you are confronted with thoughts that either push you forward or hold you back. Negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and mental strongholds seek to take root in your mind, shaping the way you perceive yourself and the world around you. When you allow doubt, fear, and insecurity to dominate your thinking, they become the barriers that prevent you from stepping into your divine purpose. The enemy of progress is not always external opposition, but internal resistance. The thoughts that tell you that you are not good enough, that you do not have what it takes, that your past defines you. These thoughts are not harmless. They are weapons designed to keep you bound, to keep you small, to keep you from walking in the fullness of your calling. Your mind is the battlefield because it is the control center of your life. It dictates how you respond to challenges, how you interpret setbacks, and how you handle opportunities. Two people can go through the exact same situation and emerge with completely different outcomes, not because of what happened to them, but because of how they processed it in their minds. One sees a setback as a sign to quit. The other sees it as a lesson to grow. One views rejection as proof of unworthiness. The other sees it as redirection to something greater. The difference is not in the circumstances. The difference is in the mind. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every transformation begins in the mind. Before you build anything with your hands, you must first build it in your thoughts. Before you step into a higher level of success, you must first elevate your thinking. What you accept as truth in your mind will determine what you pursue in life. If you believe you are destined for greatness, you will act accordingly. If you believe you are limited, you will never rise above that belief. This is why you cannot afford to be careless with your thoughts. You cannot allow every idea, every opinion, and every fear to take root in your mind. You must guard it with diligence, because the mind is the soil where the seeds of your future are planted. Many people live defeated lives not because they lack talent, opportunity, or resources, but because they have lost the battle in their minds. They have allowed the voices of negativity to shape their identity. They have accepted limitations as permanent realities. They have surrendered to thoughts of fear instead of thoughts of faith. The mind that is unguarded is like a city without walls, vulnerable to attack, open to invasion, and unable to stand firm in times of challenge. But the mind that is disciplined, the mind that is trained to reject lies and embrace truth, is a mind that cannot be shaken. It is not enough to simply desire change. You must win the mental battle first. Transformation begins when you take control of your thoughts, when you refuse to entertain negativity, when you intentionally feed your mind with what aligns with divine wisdom. You cannot allow your mind to be a dumping ground for fear, doubt, and distractions. You must be intentional about what you think, what you believe, and what you meditate on daily. What you think about consistently determines the direction of your life. Every action, every habit, and every decision is first birthed in your mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny, shaping the reality you experience. You do not rise above the level of your thinking, and you do not accomplish beyond what your mind has accepted as possible. The mind is the engine that drives success, failure, progress, or stagnation. What you meditate on becomes what you expect, and what you expect influences what you pursue. If your thoughts are small, your life will be small. If your thoughts are dominated by fear, your actions will reflect hesitation, insecurity, and avoidance of risk. If your mind is filled with doubt, you will never step into the fullness of your potential. Thoughts are not passive. They are active forces that shape reality. A person who constantly thinks about obstacles and difficulties will see nothing but barriers, even when opportunities are present. Another person with the same resources and circumstances, but with a mind focused on possibilities, will find ways to turn challenges into stepping stones. The difference is not in talent, connections, or background. The difference is in mindset. The way you think determines how you interpret life, how you respond to situations, and ultimately what you attract. If your mind is full of defeat, your words and actions will align with that defeat. If your mind is filled with victory, you will naturally operate in a way that leads to success. The human mind was designed to create, to envision, and to manifest. Whatever you allow to take root in your thinking will eventually bear fruit in your life. You cannot think one way and live another. A mind that is constantly focused on failure will not produce success. A mind filled with negative self-talk, limitations, and impossibilities will not generate bold actions. When you tell yourself you are not qualified, you act accordingly. When you believe nothing good ever happens to you, you ignore the good when it comes. When you embrace the idea that you will never succeed, you sabotage yourself before you even begin. Your thoughts shape your expectations, and your expectations shape your experiences. A person who understands the power of their thoughts becomes intentional about what they allow in their mind. They do not entertain negativity, fear, or destructive thinking. They recognize that the mind is a battleground, and they take control of what enters it. The world is full of distractions, full of messages that feed insecurity, doubt, and fear. If you are not careful, your mind will absorb these influences without resistance. But when you take charge of your thoughts, when you refuse to let external negativity dictate your internal reality, you begin to shape your destiny with intention. People who live with great purpose and fulfillment are not those who have never faced difficulties, but those who have learned to master their minds despite the difficulties. They choose thoughts that empower them, they reject thoughts that limit them, and they cultivate a mindset that aligns with where they want to go in life. They understand that their mind is like a garden. If they plant seeds of doubt, they will harvest failure. If they plant seeds of faith, vision, and discipline, they will harvest success. They take responsibility for their thoughts, knowing that their future depends on what they choose to think about today. Your thoughts do not operate in isolation. They influence your words, actions, and habits. The way you think determines how you live. If you want to change your life, start by changing your thoughts. If you want to grow, expand your thinking. If you want to achieve greatness, you must first think great thoughts. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your future. The mind was never designed to operate independently. It was created to function under divine guidance. It is a powerful instrument, capable of reasoning, imagining, and making decisions. But without alignment to divine wisdom, it is susceptible to confusion, fear, and deception. When the mind is left to its own devices, it is influenced by emotions, circumstances, and external voices that often lead away from truth. However, when it is submitted to divine wisdom, it gains clarity, direction, and purpose. A mind that is aligned with divine guidance does not operate in uncertainty because it is anchored in truth. It does not waver in doubt because it is established in faith. It does not make decisions based on temporary emotions, but is led by eternal principles that produce lasting success. There are many influences seeking to shape the way people think. Society, culture, personal experiences, and past failures all try to dictate what a person believes about themselves, their potential, and their future. When the mind is not aligned with divine wisdom, it becomes a victim of these influences, accepting limitations that were never intended to be part of its destiny. A person who allows external voices to dictate their thinking will always be at the mercy of changing opinions and circumstances. But a person who submits their mind to divine truth becomes unshakable, regardless of what happens around them. They are not controlled by fear because they understand that their steps are ordered. They do not fall into despair because they recognize that challenges are opportunities for growth. They do not chase after temporary success, but pursue purpose with unwavering confidence. Clarity comes when the mind is surrendered to divine instruction. A person who operates in their own reasoning will often struggle with confusion, making decisions based on impulse, pressure, or the expectations of others. They will be influenced by emotions, shifting from one decision to another without stability. But a mind that is guided by divine wisdom operates with precision. It does not second guess itself because it is rooted in truth. It does not move hastily out of fear, but acts with confidence, knowing that every step is being directed. A guided mind does not waste energy worrying about what could go wrong because it trusts that all things are working together for good. It does not dwell on the past because it understands that there is a greater future ahead. It does not hesitate in the face of opportunity because it knows that preparation and timing are aligned for a purpose. Discipline of the mind is essential for alignment with divine wisdom. The human mind is naturally drawn to distractions, doubts, and worries. If left unchecked, it will focus on what is wrong rather than what is right, on what is missing rather than what is possible. This is why it must be intentionally trained to think differently. Just as the body must be exercised to stay strong, the mind must be exercised to stay focused on what is true. This requires filtering thoughts, rejecting those that bring fear, and embracing those that bring. It requires guarding against influences that promote negativity and surrounding oneself with wisdom that promotes growth. A disciplined mind is one that does not entertain every thought that enters it, but examines each one, keeping only what aligns with truth and purpose. A person who trains their mind to follow divine guidance will see opportunities where others see obstacles. They will move with confidence when others hesitate in fear. They will stand firm in faith when others are swayed by doubt. They will not be consumed by anxiety because they know they are being led by wisdom greater than their own. They will not waste time chasing temporary success, but will pursue what has lasting impact. They will not live according to human limitations, but will operate in the fullness of their purpose. The mind is the gateway to everything that happens in life, and what is allowed to dwell in it will ultimately shape the course of a person's future. Thoughts are seeds, and the mind is the soil in which they grow. If the soil is not protected, anything can take root. Doubt, fear, negativity, distractions. A person who does not guard their thoughts is like a city without walls, exposed to every influence that comes its way. Without careful attention, the mind can become filled with worries, insecurities, and destructive thinking that lead to failure and stagnation. What enters the mind determines what is believed, and what is believed determines what is acted upon. If negative thoughts are allowed to take root, they will produce negative outcomes. If limiting beliefs are entertained, they will manifest as limitations in reality. Guarding the mind requires intentionality because every day thoughts are shaped by conversations, media, past experiences, and external pressures. If a person is not careful, they will begin to adopt the mindset of those around them, even if that mindset is one of fear, defeat, or mediocrity. When thoughts are not filtered, they accumulate and create mental patterns that dictate behavior. A person who constantly hears that they are not capable will eventually believe it, and that belief will shape their decisions. A person who constantly feeds their mind with negativity will develop a negative outlook, even when surrounded by opportunities. The mind reflects what it is fed, and the results of life will always mirror the dominant thoughts that are nurtured within. Every influence must be evaluated before it is allowed to settle in the mind. Just as one would not consume anything without checking if it is harmful, thoughts should not be accepted without question. Words spoken by others, content consumed daily, and personal self-talk all contribute to the mental environment. If the mind is filled with thoughts of failure, then failure will become the expectation. If it is filled with images of lack and struggle, then those will become familiar realities. The mind can either be a storehouse for discouragement or a vault of vision, and that choice is made by what is allowed to enter and stay. Mental discipline requires rejecting thoughts that do not align with truth and replacing them with thoughts that produce growth and success. It requires resisting the urge to dwell on past mistakes, letting go of internal dialogue that speaks of inadequacy, and refusing to entertain worry about things beyond control. A person cannot afford to think in ways that contradict their purpose and still expect to walk in fulfillment. They cannot hope for success while dwelling on failure. They cannot expect to live with confidence while feeding their mind with fear. Every great achievement begins with a guarded mind that nurtures thoughts of faith, possibility, and excellence. Just as a stronghold is built one brick at a time, mental habits are formed one thought at a time. A person who consistently disciplines their thinking will find that over time their mind naturally leans toward optimism rather than fear, toward vision rather than distractions, toward solutions rather than problems. But this does not happen by chance. It happens by practice. It happens by repeatedly shutting the door to destructive thoughts and opening the door to empowering ones. It happens by surrounding oneself with wisdom, eliminating influences that drain mental strength, and making a conscious effort to think in alignment with purpose. A guarded mind produces a stable life. It is not easily swayed by opinions, not quickly discouraged by setbacks, and not consumed by the worries that plague those who leave their thoughts unchecked. It operates with clarity, focus, and a sense of direction that is unshaken by external circumstances. The results of life will always be a reflection of what is allowed to dwell in the mind. And only those who guard their thoughts diligently will walk in the fullness of their potential. Fear and doubt are the greatest enemies of progress, operating as invisible chains that keep people from stepping into their full potential. They are not external forces, they exist in the mind, shaping decisions, limiting actions, and creating barriers that do not exist in reality. Fear whispers that failure is inevitable. That risk is too great, that the unknown is dangerous. Doubt tells a person that they are not good enough, not capable, not worthy of success. These voices, when left unchecked, become the loudest voices in the mind, dictating choices and ultimately shaping the future. A person who surrenders to fear and doubt will never take bold steps, will never embrace new opportunities, and will never realize the greatness within them. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a mindset that influences every area of life. It creates hesitation where there should be action, excuses where there should be effort, and limitations where there should be possibilities. It magnifies obstacles, making them appear larger than they are, and blinds a person to the opportunities hidden within challenges. It causes paralysis, preventing forward movement and keeping individuals trapped in the safety of the familiar. But what many fail to realize is that fear itself is an illusion. The things most people fear never happen, and even when challenges do arise, they are rarely as devastating as imagined. The greatest tragedy is not facing failure, but allowing fear to prevent the pursuit of success. Doubt operates in a similar way, attacking confidence and causing a person to second guess their abilities, their decisions, and their worth. It creates an internal dialogue that constantly questions whether they are ready, whether they deserve success, whether they have what it takes. Doubt keeps people waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect confirmation, when in reality, perfection never comes. Those who listen to doubt will always find a reason to delay, a reason to shrink back, a reason to remain in the comfort zone. They will never take the first step because they convince themselves they are not ready, even when everything they need is already within them. Fear and doubt are not defeated by avoidance. They are defeated by action. The more a person hesitates, the stronger fear becomes. The more they entertain doubt, the more it takes root in their thinking. But when a person moves forward despite fear, they break its power. When they take steps of faith, even when doubt is present, they prove that doubt has no real authority over them. Action weakens fear and strengthens confidence. Each time a person faces what they once feared, they realize that they are stronger than they thought. Each time they take a step despite doubt, they build a mindset of courage and resilience. Faith and truth are the weapons that destroy fear and doubt. Fear thrives in ignorance. Faith thrives in knowledge. Doubt grows in uncertainty. Truth brings clarity. A person who fills their mind with faith, who surrounds themselves with truth, will find that fear and doubt begin to lose their grip. They will no longer be controlled by the what-ifs of failure, but will be driven by the possibilities of success. They will no longer be limited by thoughts of inadequacy, but will embrace the truth that they are capable, prepared, and destined for greatness. The battle against fear and doubt is won in the mind long before it is won in action. It requires constant renewal, constant discipline, and constant awareness of the thoughts that are being entertained. Those who refuse to let fear and doubt dictate their decisions will step into opportunities that others never dare to pursue. They will walk paths that others are too afraid to take. They will achieve what others only dream about, not because they never felt fear, but because they refuse to let fear stop them. Mastering the mind is the foundation of mastering life. Every decision, every habit, every achievement begins in the mind. The quality of thoughts determines the quality of actions, and the quality of actions determines the direction of destiny. A person who has no control over their mind has no control over their future. They are led by emotions, influenced by circumstances, and shaped by external forces instead of internal conviction. But a person who has mastered their mind moves with clarity, confidence, and purpose. They do not react impulsively to situations, but respond with wisdom. They do not allow distractions to dictate their focus, but remain disciplined in pursuit of their goals. The ability to control one's thoughts is the ability to control one's outcomes. A disciplined mind is not ruled by fear, doubt, or negativity. It is not easily swayed by the opinions of others or the pressures of the moment. It remains steadfast, anchored in purpose and vision. Just as an undisciplined mind leads to chaos, confusion, and instability, a trained mind produces order, strength, and progress. Every great leader, innovator, and visionary throughout history has understood this principle. Before they achieved anything externally, they first mastered their internal world. They learned to direct their thoughts toward solutions rather than problems, toward possibilities rather than limitations, toward faith rather than fear. The process of mastering the mind requires intentional effort. It does not happen by chance or convenience, but by conscious discipline. The mind must be trained daily, just as the body must be exercised to stay strong. Negative thoughts cannot be allowed to run unchecked. Doubts cannot be given space to grow. Every thought must be examined, tested, and aligned with truth. A person who takes control of their thoughts takes control of their destiny. They do not allow themselves to dwell on past failures or future uncertainties. They focus on what they can do today to move forward. They replace self-doubt with self-belief, fear with courage, and hesitation with decisive action. A person who has mastered their mind understands that success is not a matter of luck, but of mindset. They do not wait for the perfect conditions to take action. They create the conditions through their thinking and persistence. They do not allow temporary setbacks to define them. They use setbacks as stepping stones for growth. They do not complain about circumstances. They focus on what they can change and improve. They recognize that everything begins in the mind, prosperity or poverty, success or failure, strength or weakness. The mind is the control center, and those who learn to govern it will determine the direction of their lives. The key to mastering the mind is consistency. A person cannot think one way today and another way tomorrow and expect stability. They must cultivate daily habits that reinforce discipline, clarity, and focus. They must surround themselves with wisdom, feed their minds with knowledge, and protect their mental space from distractions that weaken their focus. The thoughts that dominate the mind will shape reality, so only thoughts that align with vision and purpose should be allowed to remain. Mastery of the mind is not about ignoring challenges, but about facing them with the right mindset. It is not about denying obstacles, but about refusing to be controlled by them. It is about training the mind to operate from a place of faith, confidence, and unwavering determination. A person who has mastered their mind does not live by excuses, but by execution. They do not allow fear to dictate their choices, but walk boldly toward their purpose. They do not seek approval from others, but remain steadfast in their convictions. They do not waste energy on distractions, but remain focused on their goals. They understand that life is not determined by external factors alone, but by the internal conditioning of the mind. They are not controlled by emotions, but use emotions as tools for motivation and direction. They do not wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities by thinking differently, acting boldly, and staying committed to their vision. Mastering the mind is the foundation for mastering life. Every thought, every belief, and every decision shapes the reality that unfolds. Those who take control of their thinking take control of their destiny. Fear and doubt lose their power when confronted with faith and action. Discipline transforms the mind into a powerful tool that creates success rather than a battlefield of hesitation and confusion. Clarity comes when the mind is aligned with divine wisdom, and stability follows those who guard their thoughts with intention. The greatest battles are not fought externally, but within the mind, and those who win that battle step into the fullness of their purpose. True transformation begins not with circumstances, but with the renewal of thought, and those who master this principle will walk in vision, confidence, and unstoppable progress.